Module 9, Lino Etching, Intaglio Printing. Apparatus and materials. Lino block size 7 inches into 7 inches, thickness 1 inch. Tracing and carbon paper, rubber roller or briar 18 inches. Black printing ink, inking knife, inking glass, paper for printing, cotton racks and kerosene for cleaning, a spoon and printing machine, hand gloves, sodium hydroxide crystals, glass rod, wooden stick, paintbrush, protective eyewear, scrub brush, wax, Elmer glue, acrylic medium, hair dryer, bowl of cool water. Carefully choose one linoleum block, ensuring that the block chosen is cut at right angles of 7 inches into 7 inches in size and 1 inch thickness. The history of printmaking began with the use of materials easily available in nature such as stone and wood. After the innovation of wood carved, that is wood block printing, printmaking itself underwent a serious evolution. As relief printing became the first and easiest of printmaking techniques, they opened avenues to several other methods of making relief on surfaces such as wood and stone. But such materials were not easily found and proved to be expensive in the long run. Several years later, a new material or substrate was created, not as a ground of printmaking at first, but as a floor lining of homes and other structures like shapes and water-bound bodies. The beauty of this ground was its hydrophobic, soft surface. Hence, linoleum was produced. Linoleum has been used as a printmaking material for over 100 years now, and the wood linoleum dates back to 1863 when Frederick Walton of England combined the Latin word for flax, linum, with the Latin word of oil, oleum, to call it linoleum. It was created in the 1800s and used later for covering or lining of the floor. The surface is created using cork and linseed oil and works as a smoother, water-resistant surface as compared to other substances. For the technique employed in relief printmaking, linoleum is used as a cheaper alternative to wood and metal. Carving or etching, the soft surface is simpler, and most of the carving or etching or other wood printmaking techniques can be easily carried out on linoleum blocks or lino blocks. As seen in woodcuts, the other apparent changes in technique developed over generations with the simple need to develop newer techniques in relief making. The lino blocks, thus carved or etched, can be seen gradually reducing in size, and this was termed as reduction printing. When the relief surface is inked using a brayer or ruler, the print made on paper is fine and clean. While in lino cut techniques, the lino block used is cut into or carved to for specific designs. In lino etching process, lines or textures are bitten into or etched into the matrix or ground using a variety of mordants or acids. Though it sounds quite simple, the process requires a fair amount of deftness and absolute care while handling the acid or alkaline mordant, solution, or component. Linoleum sheets are often reinforced with wood backing and hence the chances of it buckling or bending linoleum under the effect of acid or alkalis are solved. Usually, the amount of acid used is the determining factor of the amount of time to be allotted to the etching to happen. The history of lino etching specific technique is rather difficult to trace as the lino cut process itself was developed and widely used after 1920. The need to create relief surfaces with little grain or texture became at some point a task for printmakers, as it was not easy to get a completely smooth print devoid of textural natural grain from woodcuts and wood-based relief printing. Metal was being simultaneously explored as a surface of printmaking, but it was much more expensive and experimentation had its limitations. Linoleum was one such cheaply available surface or ground which allowed experimentation and professional outputs, thereby becoming the most preferred medium for printmaking experiments. The lino etching process is one such less explored technique which is in its developmental stages all over the world. Few artists were present who endorsed this technique merely because of the variety of outputs it gives with slight changes in time of acid bite and even the quality of ground used or the specific acid used. For example, the acid when poured onto the lino block creates bubbles as the acid bites into the surface of the lino block. The design to be printed has to be of the same dimension as the size of block, that is 7 inches into 7 inches. Prepare several sketches to refine the design and select one for printing. The final sketch can be improved upon at the time of final drawing on the block. The acid action below the surface of the bubbles is reduced, hence, it is imperative that these bubbles be brushed off so as to create action on the surface. The acid used also matters as it affects the line of the ist design. Caustic soda has a tendency to burn straight down into the block and sideways too. As this affects the containment with wax resist, the block could buckle or become hollowed out from the design limits, giving a just edged print. The density of the ground, that is lino block, if uneven, could also pose a problem after acid is laid onto the design and out to be carefully monitored. The action of hydrochloric acid is more controlled than that of nitric acid. Caustic soda and other alkaline solutions also are used as a mordant to each lino blocks and gives a soft slow acting and controlled bite onto the desired area. The etching of lino block is a very unpredictable technique and at the same time that itself is its strong points. Relief printing is a subtractive printing process where area meat not to print are physically removed. Prepare the final sketch or final drawing on the block with the stop out solution, Black Japan. Here I am telling about one eminent artist, Steve Edwards. Artist and printmaker Steve Edwards is UK based. He studied printmaking in Camberwell in 1980. His interest in etching grew in 1998 at the City Lit and later he joined the London Printmakers in 2003. He gave him access to well-equipped studios and artist and printmakers community. He began experimenting with Lino in 2005 and now it has become his chief mode of expressions. He joined the Greenwich Printmakers in 2011 and Printmaker Council in 2013. Steve is known for his extensive research and art practices concerning lino etching and lino printmaking. While maintaining a website for his documentation and sharing of process of printmaking and his artworks, Steve also conducts workshops all over the UK and the USA. Steve's prints are known to have an intense ability to display textures, and this is achieved by the intense techniques of using multiple levels of etching from slow to fast, as in for longer and shorter durations of the lino. The sodium hydroxide crystals he uses are added to a wheat paste mixed with water so as to let the etchant stay like a gel layer on the lino block. If the sodium hydroxide crystals solution is mixed only with water, it can get runny and flow off the block at the sides, hampering the design and the etching ability. In his opinion, the etchant solution is very capable of working on the lino block for overnight sometimes and a wood backing would be needed to prevent the loose sheet from buckling in the case. He uses the acrylic varnish GAC 200 as a hard resist or a stop out solution or gel along with the others like the Lascaux hard resist. In an interview about his works, Steve said, I am currently interested in landscapes and in particular cityscapes of London. Living in London for over 30 years has given me many opportunities for observing the city and its multifarious mood. As this series has grown, I have become interested in the dialogue between the sky and the buildings beneath. This interest in landscape has been supported by the East Lino technique that I have utilized and experimented with, which lends itself particularly well to representing natural elements such as water and clouds. Over the years, a completely unconscious fascination with bridges has revealed itself. While he is known for his multiple talents and techniques of printmaking, especially lino cuts, Steve is also known to combine up to 3 or 4 lino ist block to create a series of prints and even a single print. His works have been known to be subtle and contemporary documentations of the city of London and its unpredictable weather. Steve Edwards lives and works in the UK. Here is an eminent another artist, Janet Dove Erickson. Graphic artist and printmaker Janet Dove Erickson is an American artist born on 29 June 1924 at Maryland. She was educated at the University of Mary Washington, Muscat College of Art and Design. Daub is known to have widely practiced and written about the linoleum block and woodblock renting techniques in the post-World War II period. She was born and lived on farmlands from her father's ancestry in the 18th century. Later, she moved to New England in 1930s to be closer to her mother's family. Prepare the etching solution. Approximately 1 teaspoon of sodium hydroxide crystals or powder is gently and carefully added the 200 ml of water. This solution is stirred using a glass rod or a wooden spoon till the crystals are dissolved completely. The etchant is ready. The Dobbs were active members of the Church of the United Brethren in Christ. Hence, her upbringing and lineage was one of piety and conservativeness. Dove left Maryland in the late 20s and spent the rest of her childhood in Winchester before moving to Virginia in the South. After dropping out of college, she returned to North to attend the Muscat's College of Art and graduate in 1940s and founded the Block House of Boston with Paul Coombs. Take extreme care to avoid contact of this solution, the skin or eyes. It could burn the skin and eyes. Her aim was to bring out new and innovative methods and techniques in block printing. Carefully apply the etching solution with the help of different tools, knife, thick brush, stick, etc. It would take a varying time exposure to the acid as per the design chooser and the duration of the etching. The negative image is to be created in such way. Janet was nicknamed Jumping Janet because in her practice she used to jump on the linoleum block and wood blocks to make the ink settle deeper into the crevices of the design and print. She became the subject of profiles in many magazines like Craft Horizons and American Artist and won a first prize in textile designs from American Craftsmen's Council in 1984. In 1961, in an attempt to popularize her intense techniques and research on the printmaking techniques on textile and prints, her design practices and art practices in general, Janet Doe took special interest in documenting it and wrote the book Block Printing on Textiles. In 1966, she co-authored on another book, Printmaking Without a Press, with Adelaide Sprout. In this book, she popularized the traditional methods of printmaking and her own experiment on linoleum or linocuts and woodcut printing techniques she had honed over the years. This was done at the time when woodblock printing was seen to be going extinct in the USA. The timing of the release of these books helped largely in resurrecting the interest in practitioners of woodblock and linocut printmaking all over the country. The book spewed interest in Janet Dobbs art specifically, which toggled between abstraction and modernism, but mostly representational. Her works show a deep interest in New England and its history and landscapes in most of her work. As compared to her painting works, Janet Dobbs' graphic and print works display a certain bold and innovative execution along with being modernist. Some of her works are seen as architectonic and relating of landscapes and focus on New England and her youth. Her prints, drawings, and paintings are seen in permanent collection of Wandsworth Atheneum, the Boston Museum of Fine Arts, the Saudi Arabian Royal Commission for Jubail, and Yambu and others. Retired from actual printmaking practice for some years now, she has resorted to spread the knowledge gained over years in the form of her writing on varieties of textiles and architectural magazines. She lived and works in Wellfleet, Muscats. After clean the block, now apply varnish to the block as per requirements. Health and safety precaution. Number one, always work in a well ventilated area. If in a closed space, keep the windows open at all times. Number two, read the safety, handling instructions, and caution labels on the sodium hydroxide crystals containers carefully. Number three, always wear acid resistant gloves, safety goggles, apron, and a respirator when handling acids. Number four, in the case of an accident or your need for assistance, make sure someone else in the room is aware of what you are doing. Precaution number five. When mixing the sodium hydroxide crystals, it is important to remember to always putting the sodium hydroxide crystals into the water. Never add water to the sodium hydroxide crystals. Reversing this process could cause a furious reaction and perhaps an explosion. Number 6. Should the solution splash or come in contact with the skin and is allowed to remain in contact with the skin, the result will be a severe burn. It can be washed off immediately with plenty of water and follow these general guidelines. Number 7. Always keep a container of cold water nearby in case of an accident. If your skin comes in contact with the acid, wash the area immediately with plenty of cold water and soak for a minimum of 15 minutes. Get immediate medical attention. Number 8. If your eye should come in contact, call for help or wash your eye with running water for at least 15 minutes. Get immediate medical attention. Number 9. If your body should come in contact with the acid, wash your entire body with the hose from the draining sink for a minimum of 15 minutes. Get immediate medical attention. Aeration is number 10. Mordants, acids, and inks can be water based or solvent based, and hence care has to be taken that if a student has any respiratory allergies or asthma problems, appropriate. Number 11. Inks can be water based or solvent based, and hence the care has to be taken that if a student has any respiratory allergies, appropriate aeration is provided for. Allergies also need to be considered. Number 12. Sharp tools have to be handled carefully at every stage as the cutting out or gouging tools can pose a problem to the printmaker if used roughly. Make sure that children are safe, guarded from the sharp tools by keeping the tools secured in a box which can be locked. Write all details and signature the print. It takes 8 to 10 hours to the varnish to dry. After 8 to 10 hours, take the trial proof by printing in the intaglio process. The intaglio process involved filling up the ink on the block and then wiping the surface of upper relief clean with a soft, light butter paper. Some of the applied ink gets poured in the crevices of the design, and this is the intaglio print. Dampen the paper half an hour before printing and blot it out properly to use for intaglio printing.